Don't try to sneak into your room like that. I know what you've got behind your back. Records. More new records.
Well, hi everybody. You can see I have this shirt on because today is the holiday known as Grunge Tuesday in the Christian religion. Grunge Tuesday is the day that Jesus turned to his disciples and said, "Here I am now, entertain me." So we're going to celebrate that by me wearing this plaid shirt. So I have finally gotten the Pro-Ject VCS cleaning machine that's made for America. The last one I had here was made for Europe and I couldn't use it. So now it's set up. And as I said the last time, if you didn't see the last video, that's okay. I'm going to repeat everything I said in that video, not in the exact words, but I'm going to say the same things. So this is Pro-Ject's machine. I think it's $500. I should have checked the price before I got on camera, but I didn't. But I can always check it later, so it doesn't really matter. Now, what I like about this machine is it's platter-less. It doesn't have a platter. It has a very small platter, so only the label touches the surface. Will that be a problem? If it's a Dynaflex record, perhaps it'll droop a little bit, but I don't think so. So let's use it. This is a velvet lip type machine. It's got velvet lips and it's a vacuum. This is basically the same idea that was started, God, it must be 30, 40 years ago by another company, VPI. I won't mention the name. Oh, I just did. And it's been modified, and other people have taken up the cause of the velvet lip type machines, and this is the latest one. And let's see how it works. So the way this works is I'm going to clean Smash Your Head Against the Wall by John Entwistle. Now, here's the thing. I promised I would never say "here's the thing" ever again, because that's the current catchphrase. Here's the thing. It used to be, but hey, I don't like that either. Anyway, I can't play the record before I clean it and afterwards. For one reason, I'm not playing dirty records on my turntable. All right? It's never a good idea, even once, to play a dirty record on your turntable. It's not good for your cartridge, so I'm not doing that. I could play the cleaning part after it's cleaned, but I'm not sure what you're going to get out of that either. So don't complain and put messages under this YouTube video saying, "Hey, I didn't hear the cleaned record." You're not going to hear the cleaned record. Okay, it's just not going to happen. I'm just showing you how the machine works. Okay, so this is John Entwistle record. I've had this for years. I've just never played it. I'm sorry to say. I bet you it's really good, and it's from 1971. That's before I was born, so that's probably why I didn't play it. It's dirty. You can't see it, but it's a dirty record. So you put it on the platter here, this pseudo platter. And then you screw, can I say screw? I did. On the clamp like that. Okay? And then, now, they give you this, it's a goat's hair brush. And that's what they recommend you use. If you like to use a different kind of brush, or you like to use one of those velvet kind of pads, whatever you like to apply your fluid with, you're welcome to use. You could use your fingers if you like that. It doesn't matter if they have this. I'm going to use this. This is the albino Hitler salute. Okay, that might not make the video, but I think it's funny. Okay, so I have a variety of cleaning devices here, cleaning fluids. This is what you get from Pro-Ject. You get this bottle here, and then there's a fluid. Now, where the bottle of their fluid is, I don't know. Oh, here it is. This is their fluid. Okay. Actually, I'm better organized than the last time. You will see. So this is their fluid. It's a concentrate. So it's 10-to-1. They give you a bottle here to add the fluid and add the water. But there are marks on here. I assume this means each of these is a fluid ounce or something. It also is a very good back rub. I've used it as a back rub. And this fluid of theirs, I like the fact that it tells you there's no alcohol in it. It's alcohol-free, it's biodegradable, non-flammable, non-toxic. Do not swallow, do not get it in your eyes. Now, if it's really non-toxic, you should be able to just drink the whole thing up if you like, but they tell you not to, probably for a variety of reasons. I didn't mix it up and use it. I'm just showing it to you. And I'm not going to use all these different fluids and tell you which is the best, because I have a life that I live, so I can't do that for you. I will tell you I like fluids that don't use alcohol. So I have a few other fluids here. So I have... I talked about this last time, but I couldn't find it. Now I found it. This is TM8. This is the fluid that was originally developed by Toshi Gikawa, who has since passed away. And Toshi Gikawa is an actual chemist. He was a rocket scientist, actually. And I have a lot of his TM7H fluid left over from the 1980s. The fact that it's still usable, it hasn't degraded, tells you it's a very stable concentrate, a very stable material. So this is the update of it, and this is by Groovy Hi-Fi Solutions, Inc. And I have their paperwork here. And so am I going to read the whole thing to you? No, but I will tell you that Toy invented it, and this fluid is has, let's see, laboratory-grade deionized water, quad-filtered to meet stringent laboratory ASTM and CAP/CLSI specs. The water is filtered by carbon absorption, reverse osmosis, reverse bed deionization. I never heard of that one. And multi-stage sub-micron filters. Finally, it is irradiated with ultraviolet light to preclude any microbial growth. Or microbacterial, microbial, I don't know what the word is. That obviously is all true because the fluid I've had from the 80s is still usable. It has not been degraded in any way. It has not started growing stuff in it. You know, it doesn't have like trees growing out of it. At any rate, this is their fluid. It's got a surfactant to make it flow easier, and that's TM8 fluid. So we're going to use that. You know why? Because I like that fluid. We also have MicroClean. MicroClean. This was sent to me a couple of months ago from a guy named Greg at microsecchi.org. Now, I don't know if it's the same company that made the turntables in the 70s, that Mr. Nishikawa-san might sue them, but I don't know. But at any rate, this is a new record cleaning product based on the process and chemistry used by the U.S. Library of Congress, which means at the U.S. Library of Congress, it's like Congress. It sits around and gets nothing done, and it's very partisan. For archival and preservation of phonographic sound recordings, it's ultra-pure deionized water with Turgitol S157, a high-performance surfactant produced by the Dow Chemical Company. In a joint research study with the American University Department of Audio Technology, we have found that this formula outperformed other record cleaning products and provides outstanding cleaning characteristics on removing dust, oil, smoke, film, and other microcontaminants from record groove surfaces. So I'm going to clean a slide with this too, because this looks like a very promising fluid. In fact, this fluid promised me a lot, so I hope it works well. And then we have here Revolve. This is another fluid. This is distributed by Vanna, not Vanna White. This is Vanna, the company that imports EAT and a bunch of other, and I think they import audio physics speakers, I think. This is alcohol-free, laboratory-grade blend of biodegradable detergents and pure water. Also archival quality, so they say. So I like alcohol-free. You know what I think is really crazy? You have a big record collection, and I put up these videos, and people say, oh, I don't use that. I make my own stuff. I use some alcohol. I use some Dawn dishwasher liquid. I use some, you know what? If you can't spend the money, if this is not expensive stuff, if you'd rather make your own stuff with alcohol and detergent is not good for records. That much I do know, because detergent has materials that dry out the plasticizer that keep records supple. The last thing you want to have happen to your vinyl records is for the vinyl to get brittle. If it gets brittle, then when you play the record, a lot of heat is developed. That heat will break off little pieces of plastic as it plays, and your records will have pops and clicks. Okay, that's not a good thing. So don't be stupid. Don't be like, oh, I don't need to buy those fluids. I'll make my own and save some money. Yeah, you have a big record collection and you're going to save a couple of bucks by making your own fluid with who knows what. Don't do that. Buy something that's been made by people that know what they're doing. And most of these people, I didn't say all, but most of them know what they were doing. And then finally, there's this here. This is TMHt. This is a concentrate. You've heard of this company? And I think I've got their paperwork here someplace. Yes. I'm so well organized today because it is Grunge Tuesday, and I felt I should be well organized. This also uses Turgitol, which is similar to what's used in the other product, but you have to take this as a concentrate and make your own solution. And I haven't done that yet. I will do that because it actually expires pretty soon, and I will do that. I'm just showing all these things to you. You can make up your own mind. Try some of these products. They're not that expensive in the big picture, especially if you have a big collection of records. All right, so now I've talked a lot because I love talking, and I love when people say my videos, my interviews are terrible because I talk too much. If you saw those people that I'm interviewing, if I just shut up and let them talk, they wouldn't talk. Most of them are not comfortable on camera. If I don't keep the ball rolling, not much comes out of their mouths, okay? So if it sounds like I'm interrupting them, that's not what's happening. I'm actually keeping them talking. Otherwise, they'd be going, take my word for it, okay? Now, this machine, I put the record on it. Now, I'll show you one other thing. You have to put this together. you have to put this plate on here and screw it in, very simple. And then you put this soft material, it's got self-adhesive on the back, you put it on there, it's soft. This protects the label from getting wet. And you put this on, and you turn it on. Now, you have to, I guess this doesn't revolve. It's supposed to revolve, I think. I don't know why it's not revolving. Maybe you have to put this over here and then it'll revolve? No, it's not revolving. I didn't try this out before I did this. It is not, it's supposed to turn, you know, but it's not revolving. So, unless there's two switches. Oh, there are two switches, okay. I'm leaving this on because I'm trying this for the first time. There are two switches on the side, and it goes in both directions, okay? I should go in both directions too. Like, one direction is try it before you turn the camera on, and the other direction is try it before you turn the camera on. But I didn't, so sue me, all right? Okay, so that's how it turns. So this is the goat's hair brush that they use, and I'm going to use that. So the first fluid I'm going to use is the late Toi Shigekawa, and I met the guy, and I've used his fluid for decades now. I started using his fluid in 1980 something, and I like it. So we'll turn it in the forward direction. Now we're going to put some fluid on here. Not too much. And then we're going to spread it. Okay. And it has surfactant, but it's still beating up a little bit. You'll find different vinyl formulations will beat up more than other vinyl formulations. It's just the way the vinyl is. This record probably hasn't been played. I don't think it was ever played. I bought this at a garage sale. It looks like it was never played by that person, just as it's never been played by me. And I will have to play because John Entwistle is, of course, one of my favorite bass players. He's a monster rock bass player. But I've never played the record. So now I'm going to put a little more on here and spread it. And okay, I like the fact that this plate covers the label, so you don't accidentally get fluid on the label. All right, and then I'm going to turn it in the other direction, because that way the brush goes in the other direction. This platter goes both ways. Okay, now nothing wrong with that. Now go the other way. Okay, and there you have it. Now when you put the velvet lips over there, it only goes in one direction. I don't think, well, let's see. Maybe you can do it in both directions, but I don't think we'll do that. Let's see how loud it is, because that's the key. Some of these things are so loud, it'll blow your ears off. That is not bad. That is not bad. Not too loud. It's taking more than one turn to dry it. It's taking many turns. In fact, I think I'll read a book now while it dries. Let's try the other direction and see what happens. Some machines don't work in both directions. This one does. It's kind of slow to dry. Now it's dry. Okay, and now let's shut it down. Let's look at it. We'll look at it together, okay? It's very, very clean. There's no dirt. It dried it perfectly. I'm looking to see who cut this, but it doesn't say. And the other side is dirty. The other side has lots of dust on it. And as I said before, because it's not a full-size platter, when I put the clean side down, I'm not putting it down on a dirty platter. So again, if you have a full-size platter like a VPI 16.5, get another mat to put down, a thin mat to put down on the clean side of the record when you put it down. So now I will clean with a different fluid. And later, when I have some time, I'll play both sides. And if one side is actually cleaner and quieter than the other side, or if one side ends up leaving schmutz on the stylus and the other side doesn't, I will report that to you in a later video. So that was TM8 Super Record Cleaning Fluid by Groovy Hi-Fi Solutions Incorporated. If you order now, we'll send you a second bottle absolutely free, except for shipping and handling, which costs more than the bottle. Okay, then this side we're going to do with MicroClean. Now, I know purists are going to say, don't use the same brush because it's been polluted with TM8, right? But for the purposes of our video, I am going to use the same brush. So don't complain. Don't send me an email. Don't put a comment in there. Dude, you use the same brush with 2 different fluids. Don't do that, because I know I'm doing that. Otherwise, I'd have to step out of the video, get another brush, and start over again. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to spray this on. This is what the Library of Congress uses. So using it will cause the deficit to go up. Okay, and rub it. There are other brushes that, and one thing about vinyl, it's really, you're not going to scratch it with any of these brushes. The vinyl is pretty scratch proof in that sense, not if you run a stylus over it. So you can press down pretty hard. I wouldn't press down really hard. I would press down moderately hard, spread it around, spread the wealth. This is the fluid Bernie Sanders uses at home on his socialist records. Okay. Now, let's try it again. This machine is reasonably quiet. You can tell that there are some machines that are really noisy where if I was doing this video, like, you wouldn't be able to hear me because the whole inside of the machine resonates, and this one seems to have been pretty well soundproof. So I'm impressed by it. There are other machines where you can only go in one direction to clean because the thing doesn't have a stop going in both directions. This one will allow you to do that in both directions. I'm not so sure that's necessary. I think you can dry it in one direction and wash it in both directions. This is not a one spin and it's clean machine. There are some machines that have such powerful suction that one spin and it's clean. This takes more than a few, but that's okay. And it is dry. Yes, it's dry and it's clean. It's dry and it's clean. So that's that. Now, can I spread this video out even further? And look, I put all this stuff on the record. I can't put it back in the sleeve until I take it off of there. I should put it in a clean sleeve. I shouldn't put it back in the sleeve. I should put it back in a nice rice paper sleeve. But for our purposes, I'm going to put it back in this sleeve. Don't send me an email about how I put it back in the original sleeve, which is dusty. Okay? Thank you. You know what? As long as we're here, I might as well clean another record. So let's clean The Great Madness. Now, this record I reviewed just yesterday, the day before Grunge Tuesday. I love this record. And what's amazing about it, this is like the hardest, crunchiest kind of two-person rock that you're going to hear. It's like kind of like sort of like the White Stripes. Kathy Cooper plays the guitar, and she's real. And people think the distortion is in the record. No, the distortion is in her guitar effects pedals. I really like it. I played this record numerous times. Here's the inside, which I couldn't show, but I'm going to show it to you now. This is like, as I wrote in the review, this is like the kind of artwork that my post-college roommate drew. He was very good like this, and he also subsisted on a diet of Chips Ahoy and window pane acid. I don't know what Kathy subsists on. So, at any rate, thank you. This is a white record. So you really can't see how dirty it is, and that's the only problem with records that are white or colored or clear. You can't really see the dirt. So I'm going to clean one side with. You're probably saying, okay, I've seen how this machine works, you're wasting my time. And that's probably true, but as long as I've took the time to set this thing up, we're going to clean one more record. And this one we're going to do with Revolve by Vanna White. And we're going to use the same brush. And I will rinse this brush off in very, very ozonated, purinated water. And let it dry before I use it again for anything, okay? This record actually came out of the jacket very, very clean. Even though you can still see, if you look in the right light, you can see whether it's clean or not. Okay, and let's do this. Some people like to leave it spinning for a minute before they brush it off to let whatever is going to happen, the interaction of the dust and the schmutz and the oils with the fluid so that it can do its thing. But for our purposes, hard to see on this, on a white record, whether it's dry or not. It's a little more difficult. But it appears to be. Let's see. Turn it off before you take the record off, dude. I've heard that one too. You know, big deal. Clean and dry. So I have to clean the other side, you know, because I've done one side. I must do the other side. I can't leave that for later. I'll forget. And I have no other fluid alternative to use, so I'm going to go back to the TM8. You know, one thing I can say, since I don't know these other fluids, I haven't used them for years. I have used TM7H, which this is basically based upon. I've used it since the 80s, and all the records I've cleaned with it are great. They're in good shape. You know what else is great? Last. You know Last? Last is the record preservative. It's not a cleaner, it's a preservative. After your records are scrupulously clean, you apply drops of Last to a pad and put it on the record. It changes the molecular structure of the vinyl for a couple of microns deep, and what that does is it prevents little chips from flying off of it, so which can happen, you know, after a number of plays. Little pieces of plastic chip off, microscopic. This sort of binds the molecules together, Last, and it works. Because I have records in there that were lasted like in the 80s, and I take them out and play them. They're quiet and they have no pops and clicks. So if it's a record you really care about, get some Last. You can still get that online, L-A-S-T. I recommend it. And then after you last a record, you should. Wait 1 second. You should, after you last a record, you should put a little sticker on it or some way of knowing that when you take the record, you know you've lasted it, so you don't have to do it again. Okay? And there you have it. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, where does all this fluid go that's been sucked into the machine? Where is all that? I'm putting this under my armpit, okay? Deal with it. It goes in the machine. One of the early VPI machines, the original 16, which was made out of particle board, had no collector inside for the liquid. So the liquid would just sit in there, and after a while, the particle board would just rot, and then it would start to smell like moldy newspapers, and then it would fall apart. So they fixed that after a while, and they put something in there that collects the liquid, and you open it up and take it out. Now, what they were thinking before they did that, I don't know. This machine has a collector vat in it, and on the side here is a vent, which is good. So the vent is good because that way, whatever liquid is in there is not going to, this isn't a sealed chamber, and so the liquid in there is not going to putrefy, because now the liquid has dirt and grime and dust and organics that could, over time, in the heat and in the sealed chamber, start to putrefy. So it's got a vent, which is a smart idea. And then what you do is you take this, here it is. This, if you're wondering what this is, this goes on the side. You put it in the side of this machine, and then you tilt the machine into your sink and get rid of the liquid. There's also a little thing on the side here that tells you how much liquid you have in here. It tells you when it gets to the top and you better empty it out. You don't have to do it every time. So they've really thought of everything in this Pro-Ject machine. And it's $500. And I like it. It's quiet. It works well. I like the platter-less design. I like that this is made out of metal. And they give you an extra set of velvet lips to change it when it gets dirty. In the meantime, what I recommend with these velvet lips is, after a couple of records that you've cleaned, get another brush. Get like go to the like the Stupid Market, or Stop and Slop, or wherever you go. Get a little nylon brush, like a nail brush, and clean this off. Brush it off so it's clean for the next time you use it. Okay, and that is the story of the Pro-Ject VCS vacuum operated record cleaning machine. It works very well. In fact, I have to say, I cleaned one record before I'm lying to you. I did clean one record before we started, and it was this one. It was the Fugs album. This Fugs album. And this machine is so effective that all the dirty words that they speak on this record were cleaned off. That's how good it is. So thank you for watching.